In a commanding position near the junction of 5 main roads, it was hoped that the Gaumont, Rose Hill, would draw patrons from Carshalton, Wallington, Morden, Sutton, Cheam and even Epsom. In May 1936, when the first sod on the site was turned, few thought that the magnificent theatre would be completed in time for Coronation Week 1937. The cinema was, however, only a part of architect and managing director Harry Weston's £100,000 scheme to make the busy crossroads into a shopping parade. At one time it was intended that the cinema entrance would be at the apex of the triangular site on which shops, flats and cinema were built. On the ground floor, 26 fully equipped shops were available, and above them 60 5-room flats. These were designed on modern 1937 lines, with built-in refrigerators, central heating, radio and garages. They were let for 30 shillings, that is £1.50 a week. Advantageously situated in the St Helier LCC estate, the new Gaumont was modern in every way and a worthy addition to the amenities of the district. It was owned by Carshalton Regional Theatre Limited, but booked and managed by Gaumont British. Fronting Bishopsford Road, the elevation of the cinema suggested strength coupled with luxury and comfort. The building was 100 feet long and 60 feet wide, carried out in Bingfield handmade sand-faced russet bricks and relieved by tall windows. Terrazzo slabs covered the base of the facade, a treatment which was repeated to considerable advantage in the trimming of the window columns. 5 sets of teak wood doors with sycamore enrichments gave access to the vestibule, where immediately facing the entrance were the box offices taking the form of circular windows let into the rear wall. Across the top of this wall was a delicate frieze, painted on canvas by the French artist Henry Weston, whose work had been extensively used throughout the building. In the ceiling were circular plaques arranged in 2 rows of 6, in which had been set small metal and glass light fittings. 2 sets of swing doors led from the vestibule along a curved passage to the ground floor of the auditorium, while to the right and left a short flight of stairs led to the balcony foyer, the cafe and the circle. The decorative treatment of the balcony foyer was simple and presented a comfortable aspect with its continuous indirect lighting trough stretching across the ceiling and terminating at each end in moulded columns extending down the side walls. The cafe too had more friezes by Henry Weston and circular plaques that used to hold the light fittings. Natural light was provided by the tall windows of the main frontage. It was handsomely appointed with tubular furnishings. One of the principal features of the auditorium was the treatment of the ceiling. Indirect lighting troughs, carried out in ribbed fashion and inclined towards the proscenium opening, extended across the ceiling and down to a slanting trough set in the side walls. Seating for 2,000 was executed in red with Dunlopillo arm pads in grey. The full-size stage had 20 scenery lines, 10 of which had been fixed and counterweighted. Stage lighting equipment was supplied and installed by the Strand Electric and Engineering Company Limited. In the centre of the orchestra pit was the illuminated console of the Compton 3-manual 10-rank organ. Guest organist for the first week was Terence, the resident organist of the Gaumont Haymarket, who had previously been at the Gaumont Chelsea and before that the Regent Brighton, where he had a tremendous following. The first resident organist at Rose Hill was Beaven. The cinema had every modern piece of equipment, including air conditioning, and was opened daily from 1:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. The Gaumont opened on Whit Monday, May the 13th, 1937, at 7 p.m, and the ceremony should have been conducted by GB film star John Loder. At the last moment he was indisposed and unable to be present. However, his guard of honour were a bevy of Gaumont starlets, aboard an old-fashioned stagecoach with postilions and trumpeters, dressed in Dickensian costumes. This departed from Gaumont's county cinema at Sutton and toured the district en route to the Gaumont Rose Hill. Scarlet-breeched trumpeters announced the opening of the curtain, and on the stage, against the red and white screen curtains, Councillor J. Goodman, chairman of Carshalton Council, declared the cinema open. The programme was Champagne Waltz, starring Fred McMurray, supported by the King's People. Projection room equipment included the latest Cayley 11 projectors with Cayley's Sperry Arcs and Duosonic sound system. Duosonic sound was said to be the recreation on film of sound faithfully recorded with every tone and gradation intact, and with a superb faithfulness to the original. Each voice was the voice of the living artist. Orchestras were recreated, and incidental noises were immediately recognisable. The sound illusion was complete, the audience hearing everything exactly as the microphones captured it. There were no seats in the Gaumont where the sound was inferior to that heard in others. Distribution was uniform throughout the theatre, and in every part there was a perfect balance. The final performance at the Gaumont was on July the 17th, 1961, the last film being The Boy Who Stole a Million. In its latter days, the Gaumont played the weaker national release programme, while the nearby Morden Odeon, immediately outside the underground station, screened the rank release. Bingo commenced immediately, and the theatre has now been a top-ranked club for longer than it was a cinema.